British Kilosh. There we go.
Oh. David, welcome back.
Hello, hello. Thanks for coming. It's a bit bigger crowd than I'm used to on a matinee.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is a great first crowd.
Yeah.
I think it's one of our biggest morning crowds we've had. It's normally so quiet at this time of day.
You're not just saying that.
No, genuinely.
No, it's true.
I was shocked. I was like, for David. Welcome back. How's life been treating you since you were last here?
Yeah, I haven't been here for about 4 years. I did some filming in the centre of the city with Les Miserables. It was a BBC film, about 4 parts. And I had about 2 or 3 weeks here, and it was just great. Nice to be back.
Oh, lovely. When did you film that?
About 4 years ago.
Oh my God.
But I've got to the age now where someone will say, no, that was 8 years ago. Yeah.
Anything past 2008 is new to
Yeah.
you. You are constantly working. I don't know how you just do it so much. Whenever I see something you're in, I'm like, this man never stops. You've had it busy 4 years.
Well, it's been really busy. I'm very fortunate. I was going to say lucky, but somebody recently said, you've been lucky, and somebody else interjected, and she said, no, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. And that was like Seneca, an old Roman philosopher. I thought, yeah, that's good. So I always think of that. And I think but let's say I've been very fortunate in keeping pretty busy over the last coming up to 60 years.
Yeah. Well, because obviously you've done a lot of theatre and stuff as well. Well, I mean, to go way back, when was the moment you realised I want to be an actor?
When did you realise you wanted to be an actor?
I think once I worked in my home city, York, and I took an apprenticeship as an engineer. My foreman told me after about 5 years that I was the original square peg. And that was a hint that I was in the wrong sort of job. However, I stayed there for 8 years, and I spent most of my time watching the clock. So 5 o'clock in the afternoon came, I could go home and go out and give it some. And that's all I was interested in doing. And then I got involved in an amateur group at a local youth club. And I did a Julius Caesar. And I'd never seen a Shakespeare play, I'd never read Shakespeare. And I just fell in love, and I have been ever since. So I did it as an amateur in various groups around York, and then someone said, you should give up engineering before it gives me up. And this guy said, I'll help you get into drama school. And it took like 2.5 years of audition, and kept getting, and the more I got rejected, the more I wanted to do it. So I eventually got into drama school, and I think it was that rejection of being turned down that helped me appreciate more now what I'm doing, what I have been doing. If I got in the first time, I might not have appreciated it so much. I might have been a bit lazy, but now I know every time I get a part, I think, why me? You know, they could have had George Clooney.
I've always said I would have loved to have seen George Clooney as Filch, actually. We're very different. That's beautiful though. So how old were you when you started acting? Were you in your 20s?
When I went to drama school, I was 24, and I started in Sheffield in theatre.
Nice.
When I was 26.
Crucible?
And at that time, none of us thought about doing movies or being a film actor, because most of the work was in theatre, and we all wanted to be in the Royal Shakespeare Company or the National Theatre, and I didn't think about film until they came along. So I always liked working with a company, working with people, and discussing it. But now it's changed around, so there are more TV companies now, like not only the BBC, but Netflix, of course, and Amazon Prime, and there's less and less theatre work opportunities. To go to a local town and spend a couple of years doing a different play every week, it's hard work, and the money isn't very good. But now there's a lot more opportunities, and people are making, you've got this like camera, you can make a movie now with a hand camera, but that was unthinkable 50 years ago.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's so crazy how we've got more technology in our pockets to make films now than Because that flip was so fast.
Yeah.
So fast, it became so accessible, 20 years ago. It's crazy.
Yeah.
What was the first film you were in?
First film, I think it was called Brick Up Your Ear with Gary Oldman.
Oh, really?
And I was an undertaker. But I only had one theme. It was written by Alan Bennett, and I just did one theme. But so that was the first.
Did you fall in love with films, or was it just a job?
I used to be terrified. If it was a long shot with the camera over there, I was okay. But when they said, "We're coming in close on you now, David," and the camera would be there, I was thinking, please don't, just keep the long shot. But now, I'm saying, where's the close-up? Oh, yeah.
Where's the money shot?
And I just love the close-up because that reveals everything. And then you don't get that in theatre. You can be saying, I love you, but what you're meaning is, I hate you. Because the eyes and the close-up reveal everything.
I remember reading something about how film changed acting as a profession because of that exact thing.
Yeah.
Because everyone had to be so more exaggerated on stage to convey an emotion, and then suddenly you got this sort of intimacy from it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
did you find coming from theatre to film a different mechanism in terms of acting?
It wasn't too bad, but the first few things I saw of myself on TV, I was thinking, why are you pulling that face? Why are you smiling so much? Why are you just do it? Because it would say less is best, and it's an adjustment. And I think a lot of actors find it a bit of a tricky manoeuvre because it's easier if you do stage work and bring it down rather than start off doing film and then being generous enough to share a story with you. It's all it is, storytelling. And it's harder. That's why if any students ask me now, and we do occasionally, which is the best, I would say start off, get some theatre experience, because that's how you learn to communicate with an audience. And filming is the same, but you let the camera find you rather than you going out selling a story on stage.
But there's no retakes in theatre. Theatre is, you're there, you're in front of people, and if it goes wrong, you have to deal with it. Whereas film, you can stop the camera, you can do it again.
Yeah, and in the old days, don't listen to me, all the old days, you used to have to, you get towards the end of a scene, and then you'd mess it up, and you have to set up and do the whole thing again. But now they just say, the director will say, just pick it up from the previous line. And so what you've done, that's all. Okay. So it's a lot easier. But I think when I did the Doctor Who, making of Doctor Who, you'd hear stories about the actors in that. They were only allowed one camera stop in the whole episode. And if you missed a line, someone else had to come in with your line, or just make it up at the end of the time.
Wow.
And they had massive cables all over the floors, out of sight, because they had the cameras were like fridge freezers, huge things. And now it's all like you can get handheld or something like this, and it's much easier, much more relaxing now. Because if you do screw up, you just pick it up.
Well, I was talking to your friend backstage. He said you're both in a band.
Sorry?
I heard that you're in a band and you sing.
Oh.
You like to sing. How have you found? Because obviously you did Les Mis for the BBC. Do you enjoy doing musical theatre or musical theatre for
I've never
films?
done a musical professionally.
Oh, really?
Would you?
No, I just like singing.
Would you ever combine those loves?
Yeah, well, nobody's ever paid me to sing. Let's say.
That's a mark of a good singer.
Bradley wants to be on a musical. Tweet it now.
So one for the money?
If you could play anyone in a musical, who would you want to play?
Oh yeah, who would you want to play in a biopic?
Well, I get mistaken a lot for Willie Nelson.
Great, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
And I met a guy at Venice Airport. I was seeing my wife off, and this guy came up and said, "Hey, you're the man." I said, who were you thinking? He said, "Willie Nelson." I said, "I'm not." I said, "I wish I had his money." And he said, "No, can't fool me, you're Willie Nelson." I said, I'm really not." And he went on so much, so I said, "Okay, I'm Willie Nelson." He shook his hand. He went off happy, thinking he'd met Willie Nelson. And when I got back home, he was on the concert from 9/11, and he was the headliner from Central Park. And I thought, he looks older than God. But what a great face. So, and it's happened at Abbey Road Studios as well. I recorded a song for a film with Pinocchio. And because there's always a lot of tourists in Abbey Road, either outside the studios or doing the zebra crossing. And these two American ladies who were so convinced I was Willie Nelson. So I'd be happy to do a biopic about it.
I love how they're meeting you and then they hear your northern accent and they go, "Yeah, that's Willie Nelson from the north of England." Brilliant. I'm glad you brought up Pinocchio as well, because I love Pinocchio.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. It was really moving. Did you feel that when you were recording?
Well, I knew it was going to be good because it's with the great Guillermo del Toro.
Oh no, one of the best directors.
Yeah, because I'd worked with him on The Strain in Canada and New York. And I just finished doing Frankenstein, which is coming out.
I was so excited you brought that up. I'm so excited to see what that is.
Yeah, it's coming out later this year. So, but playing Geppetto, I got to go to the Oscars and we won the Oscars, and it's very exciting working with him anyway.
Yeah.
Because he's a genius, yeah.
Did you get to go to his house?
Never been to his house.
Because he's got like it's basically a cabinet of curiosities, isn't it?
Yes, I gather. But I don't know which house he's talking about. He's got a
I mean, yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. No, but he's great company and he's great. And if he likes you know, a lot of directors say, "Oh, we must work together again," and you never hear from them.
Yeah.
But we've done it 4 times now, and so I'm very excited about Frankenstein.
I'm so excited. When I saw it was Guillermo del Toro and then I saw the cast, I was just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be perfect. We are gonna open the floor to questions in a second. I've just seen the time. So do you have a question for David? Raise your hand and we'll get a microphone to you. Don't be shy. Everyone's shy in the morning.
Yeah,
It's weird, isn't it?
it is.
Anyone got a question for David? Because otherwise I have a million, so don't worry.
I've got one. Obviously, as you say, the first film you're in was with Gary Oldman. You've had all these other films. Have you ever been starstruck?
Ooh.
Because people get starstruck meeting you, but who do you get starstruck by?
Yeah.
Gary Newman.
When I worked with Laurence Olivier for
Wow.
2 years, the National, he was my boss. And I was always terrified, saying the wrong thing. Because he was like arguably the greatest actor in the world, and he was my boss. And I was talking to Maggie Smith, I've just dropped her name, sorry. On the sound of Harry Potter set. And I was telling her about, because she worked there at the same time. And she said, oh, I was the same. She didn't know what to say to him, And I thought, well, Maggie Smith was nervous about him. And then I worked with Michael Caine on Harry Brown. And I was a bit starstruck with him. But he was so down to earth. None of this, I'm Sir Michael. Hello, I'm Mike, hello. What are you doing? What are you up to, mate? And it's about to blow the bloody doors off, And you want when you meet him, you want to do his voice. You got to, then don't do it.
I imagine he gets that all the time. It's so addictive doing Michael Caine. Bloody hell. Have you any questions? Get your hand up. Straight away. Go for it.
Do you have a cat like Mrs. Norris?
Do you have a cat like Mrs. Norris?
No, we used to have 4 cats. One, Stan, he was a bit like Mrs. Norris, but he wasn't the same breed. Because they're big cats, they're called Maine Coon. And you have to keep them in the house because people steal them. They're so sought after. But the cat I had for Mrs. Norris was great, really. Because a cat knows if you're a cat person. If you're not a cat person, they won't come near you. But Mrs. Norris, when she would sit on my lap or stand on my head, or, they got very fond of each other.
Was it the same cat all the way through?
No, we had 2. Max and Alana, one male, one female, but they were identical. And if one was asleep or was eating, they get the other one. But they were both very good. What they did, I'll tell you this, to get the cat to follow me around, which you're supposed to do, they had a clicker in my boot. And somebody would be off camera with a remote control, making my boot click. And the cat would follow me because it knew when the click went, food was on its way. So every time we finished a take, someone would come in with a little tray and they'd make the clicking noise and the cat would be. And it knew there was a treat coming. So it would follow me. Because the camera couldn't hear the click. That was it.
I was going to say, but how many people on set were like, what's wrong with David's ankle? Questions? We'll start getting round. Come over.
Hi. My question would be, what was your favorite moment during Harry Potter series? Like, I wanted to ask about Norris as well, but my question got taken away. So my question is, what's your favorite moment during the Harry Potter series?
What was your favorite moment filming Harry Potter?
I think probably when I burst through the crowd of kids and shout, "You murdered my cat! I'll kill you! I'll kill you!" Because my daughter, who was then age 13, she came to visit me on the set. And she was stood behind the camera. And Chris Columbus, the director, said, "Is that your daughter?" I said, "Yeah." "Does she want to be in the movie?" I said, you bet, you know. So they got her a costume, a Gryffindor costume, and they put her in the, among the crowd of kids when I burst through. So when we saw the premiere, as I pushed through, her little head just popped up, and she had a moment. So it was lovely, I loved it, and she had a great time.
Oh yeah, that's great. That's amazing. We had questions down here. Yeah, we'll get back to you. Don't worry.
Hello.
Hello.
I was wondering, when choosing what kind of role you play, are there certain like criteria when you read script, whether you want to, or do you just say, I'll give it everything a go?
What is it?
So how do you choose which role you take?
Oh yeah. How do you choose which role you pick?
I don't. I just whatever's on offer. The only thing I ask is if the writing's good. If it's good writing, I would say there's no such thing as small part. If the writing's good, I'll do a day or 2 days. Because if it's something that has a kind of truth, an emotional truth, then I do it. And I love it when it's something totally different from what I did before. I mean, going from playing Walder Frey to playing Ricky Gervais's dad, you couldn't be more different. And I asked Ricky on the first day of Afterlife, I said, why did you pick me to be your dad? He said, I saw Game of Thrones. I said, but Walder Frey is something like. But he didn't, he just took a chance, yeah. And he was just great. It's probably my favourite thing, working with him. Because, you know, he could have found somebody more like his dad, or not somebody like Walter Frey. Because, you know, I don't know where that came from. But I admired him for taking a chance, yeah.
Have you ever turned down a role, or not been? Have you ever turned down a role, or said no to something you wish you'd said yes to?
Not really. No, that's why I kept working probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember the last. I mean, occasionally you get something, and you know within a page that the writing not good.
Right.
And sometimes I think, oh, not another old man who's on his deathbed. You think, have I done that? So,
How many times can you die?
Yeah. Well, I was thinking if I had a gravestone, I'd want, I've died many times, but never quite like this. Because my daughter said to me when she was about 5, she was watching, she said, Dad, why are you always dying? You know, I don't want her to grow up thinking, that's what I do a good death.
Is there a role you wish you'd turned down?
Well, it's a good question. But
Tell me backstage.
no, I can't think of anything, to be honest.
Then you've had a good career. That's a mark of someone who's worked
Well,
well.
it's been good to me, and I still enjoy doing it, you know.
Yeah. Is there anything you nearly got? Like,
Yeah, the Full Monty.
really?
Yeah, I got down to the last 2. And then, so when Harry Potter came along, my kids were saying, you've got to get this, you've got to. They put real pressure on me. And I got turned down for a Superman film.
Really?
But it was a 5th one or something. It wasn't great, but it's your kids who put pressure on you, you know.
I'm glad they weren't putting pressure on you to be in the Full Monty. That would have been very strange.
Dad, you don't get this, you have to be a stripper. So,
Yeah, I know. I think my dad, when it came out, I said, oh Dad, I'm so glad you didn't get that.
yeah. We have a question over here.
Hello, thanks for coming. I would like to know if you got some present or from the set.
Yeah, did you get anything from the set of, I assume Harry Potter?
Sorry.
Oh, Game of Thrones. Have you got any props that you've stolen, essentially?
So, now
Four of
given,
them.
the chair, you know, where you got a chair with your name on it. The Harry Potter.
Oh, can we get the green mic up? I think we just need to get the mic to him. We just got a few. Is that coming through okay? Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I got the chair.
You got the chair from Game of Thrones.
No.
No, I didn't get anything from Game of Thrones. And I was offered the big silver sword after the strain. Because it was a Guinness Book of Records for beheading people. I should have won it because I beheaded so many vampires in strain. And the producer offered me the sword. Massive. And my wife said, I'm not having that in the house. So I didn't take it.
She's going to regret that when a vampire turns up.
I thought, well, do I want to stay married? Yeah. So I couldn't have that.
I mean, if you tried to get through customs, you might not have been going home anyway, so...
Yeah, that's right. But I've got one of the original puppets from Pinocchio.
Oh, wow.
The Geppetto, and it's one that was used in the animation because when we won the Oscar, Guillermo got the Oscar, and of course I was just one of the voices. So I said, can I have the Geppetto puppet? So I've got that.
That's amazing.
That to me.
Yeah, stop motion puppets as well are just so beautiful.
Yeah.
They're so good. Any more questions before we let David go? Can we get the microphone just yet? It's coming your way. Any more? Just give me your hand so I can see if... Alright, we're going to go 1, 2, 3 and we're out.
Hi, first of all, thank you for coming. My question is, what is the craziest or funniest experience you had with a friend or someone you went to work with?
Was it your best experience with a fan?
Crazy.
What's your funniest experience with meeting a fan?
Meeting a fan. I met 2 young ladies from Japan recently.
Sounds like a setup for a joke.
Eh?
Sounds like a setup for a joke.
Well, no, it's true. And they said, they stopped me in the street and said, excuse me, can we have pictures?
They went on Willie Nelson.
Hey, so I said, yeah, okay. Where do you want me? In the middle? She said, no, you take a picture of me and my friend.
Yes, please. We had a question, where was it? Yeah, if we get there, and then we're going to come round. You'll be last, don't worry. I'll go, yeah.
Morning. Thank you.
Morning.
Thank you for also your many great achievements you can enjoy. I was wondering which of your many roles you took is your favorite? Which did you enjoy most? Everything you did.
Of all of your roles that you've done, what's your favourite?
Well, I enjoyed playing the original Doctor Who in Adventure in Space and Time. I think working with Ricky Gervais on Afterlife was probably up there with the best. But when I say that, I think of Game of Thrones. There have been so many really good experiences particularly over the last 10, 15 years on film. But I had so many years in the theatre doing Shakespeare and touring the world with King Lear and stuff like that. So many. I was talking to Brian Cox day before yesterday. I was in London. We were doing the PE Day, and I did a character in Dad's Army. We did a sketch near Buckingham Palace, and the King was there, Prince William, and Brian Cox was doing a bit.
Sorry, yesterday you were hanging out with Brian Cox and the King of Britain.
Yeah, just casually with the King of Britain and Brian Cox. We all did it yesterday.
I'm gonna have trouble moving away from me. I've dropped so many names. And Brian and I were talking about when we toured the world 30 years ago. and it all comes flooding back, great experiences, you know, and a lot of them are theatre, but that's, theatre's written in water, we say, it only lives in the memory, but you only have to put your TV on and watch stuff that you've done, like Game of Thrones, and it's there forever, which is really nice.
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. And a testament to that is how many people it touches who come out.
Well, that's great, you know, especially like somebody, this young man here, they watch stuff that you've done, and it's really touching, and you think it'll hopefully be shown long after I've gone, and it's always like Star Wars or something, it'll always be there. That's very gratifying. And it's just great having young people who enjoy your work just as much as others. It's very touching.
We got 2 questions and then we will let you go. Can we get the microphone down here? And then it will be you next.
Hello? Sorry if you said before, but I didn't get it clearly. Did you get anything from the puppet set?
From the what set?
From the puppet set.
Oh yeah, so you didn't get anything from Harry Potter, did you?
No, I got a wand, but I had to buy it.
So you went to the Harry Potter shop?
Because, because Phillips didn't have a wand, so you know, he was a squid. So I've got a really nice wand. But yeah, apart from I didn't, sometimes you do something and you think, oh, I'll have that jacket or that hat, like the Doctor Who hat I've got. But there's nothing that Filch wore that I would dream of taking home with me. So that was it. Just a chair with my name on.
Nice, good. It's good. Can we get the microphone to this young gentleman in the red, please? You are the last question. So, come forward,
My question is, who was your favorite actor to work with on set?
Is that specifically Harry Potter?
Any film, any show.
I'll tell you, Michael Gambon, who played Dumbledore, the second Dumbledore after Richard Harris had, because we worked together way back in the 40 years ago on stage, and he's such a naughty man. He would do anything to make you laugh. And I remember one scene we were doing in Harry Potter, and me and Michael and Alan Rickman playing, and all the kids were asleep in the hall because the Dementors were coming, and it was like, so they all had to sleep on sleeping bags. And we're walking through the hall, and it's pitch quiet, and suddenly I heard this little fart noise. And then it happened again, and everybody looked at Daniel Radcliffe, because that's where it was coming from. And Michael Gambon, he slipped a fart machine underneath Daniel's pillow, and he was on the remote doing it. And Daniel, when everybody was, all these awful kids all shaking with laughter, and Daniel just jumped up and said, Gambon! You! And he knew it was Michael because he was always doing practical jokes. He would do that kind of thing. So not only was Michael Gambon a brilliant actor, he was great fun.
You know that's on YouTube?
Is it?
Yeah, I saw it recently.
Really?
Yeah. There's someone must have got it from the behind the scenes, so if you ever want to watch that again, you can.
All right.
Yeah. You should, it's very funny. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I saw it really recently. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Oh, good. I'm glad Michael's immortalised in that way. It's what he would have wanted.
There is nothing funnier than a well-placed fart machine.
No, I've got one of my own.
I've got one. I carry it with me all the time. Don't worry. It's attached. David, we're going to have to let you go, unfortunately. This has been amazing. We'd like to get a picture with all our guests, if that's all right, with everyone behind. So thank you so much for all your questions.